Hey guys, this is Camford15 back at it with another video for you guys, and I'm back with another Fairy Tale 100-Year Quest manga chapter review. And oh man, 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 how many more times do we have to like say something that Lucy does in this arc is god tier? Like, I've loved Lucy from the start, but I'm being honest. I feel like she's done the most and put in the most work this arc than most of half the main story arcs. Now, she does have important story points in the whole story of Fairy Tale and stuff like that. If it wasn't for her being in some of these situations, they never would have been in there. Arguably, you can say one of her biggest, most famous moments, if not, I would say, in my opinion, even after reading this chapter, my favorite Lucy moment of all time is when she was essentially all by herself, the last remaining Fairy Tale member against the in the battle against Tartaros, and she literally like managed to save everybody. Otherwise, they all would have just died, and there would have been no final season. There would have been no Alvarez Empire arc. None of this. But this is another moment for Lucy where you can put on there and be like, you know what? This girl done did good. And they're putting respect on Lucy's name. Moshima has been killing it with Lucy in this Celine arc, man. She has been killing it. Lucy picked up the W here against Mimi, which, hey, everybody figured when... And funny enough, they said in the last chapter 2 weeks ago that, well, when you go up against us a second time, typically we don't tend to lose. And Lucy essentially got down and she fought, and she like literally beat the ever living hell out of Mimi. Well, when the Aranometria showed up. But yeah, anyways, let's get into this manga chapter and talk about some things. So there's a Fairy Tale 100-Year Quest manga chapter 83 titled Mimi the Immovable. Again, like all my other manga chapter reviews, if you guys want to know what the cover page is if you didn't read it, or which you probably have read it, but if you didn't see the cover page, it's essentially Lucy looking like she's I'm guessing ice skating while water bending at the same time. Yeah, okay. Anyways, the chat where we last left off was the Shizuku versus Celine battle, and then the preparations for Brave versus Hakune, and then Lucy versus Mimi. In this entire chapter, we get the entire battle of Lucy versus Mimi here and stuff like that. Now, Mimi, she's kind of just looking at Lucy and she's like, it seems like I underestimated you. I might have to start, I'm guessing we have to take you more seriously now. And stuff like that. So then she starts charging up. There's like this aura around her, and when we find out now she can essentially fly, or she can levitate, essentially. I'm guessing it's based on her magic power, but essentially the whole thing she says this entire chapter 2 before she does her attacks, or as she's alerting Lucy to her attacks, is she's doing hoo-ha! So she does this one move called Mimi Immovable Fist, which knocks Lucy back like onto this freaking into the ground. And Lucy tries to counter by changing into another star dress. But Mimi, since seeing what the star dress changes that Lucy's been doing, kind of puts Mimi at a disadvantage because she doesn't know which star dress she's using. Mimi literally gets on the attack and she's like, I'm not allowing you to change dresses, change powers. And that's when she punches Lucy again into essentially the ground again. And as she's about to go for another attack to, I guess, like smash her head off or essentially take her. Okay. I don't know what happened there, but cut out on me. It cut out on me. Anyways, as I was saying, what happens is Mimi tries to take Lucy out by, I guess, like just punching her so hard on the ground. But because Lucy's in her Virgo star dress, she actually digs a hole, which funny enough, I'm seeing this now. She digs a hole and then she comes back up and literally gives a good Lucy kick to the gut of Mimi. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, Lucy's killing it now? I'm reading this chapter. I'm like, oh, Lucy, she's giving that gut punch look where the freaking enemy is like, coughing whatever saliva or spit out because they got hit really hard in the gut. And then that's when Mimi grabs Lucy's leg, throws her into a freaking rock, and it honestly to me, this was giving me like Dragon Ball Z vibes here, man, where all this whole vanishing stuff and then throwing people into stones and stuff like that. Now Lucy admits like, okay, she's strong. I need to come up with something to take her down. Now again, Mimi, flying in, saying about to give like a knockout blow, but then that's when Lucy counters and does an attack we haven't seen in quite a while, but she uses as a bait type of thing. She barely uses her little whip, the Flua Dia Toles, the one whip move if you ever played the Fairy Tail video game, or if you remember back from the Edalus arc, she had that whole whip thing. I don't remember if she used it a few times after that, but really not much. She used it as a way to grab onto essentially a branch and essentially get out of dodge there and stuff like that before Mimi literally could have probably just killed her in one strike and stuff like that. And as Lucy's just kind of floating in the air for the bit, she sees a pond and everything. She's like, good, I can now use this. I'm like, okay, she's about to use her Aquarius powers and everything, which that's what she does. And she says, open gate of the water barrier to call Aquarius. So Aquarius is still being an integral part of this arc. Essentially what Aquarius does is she tries to do the whole water attack where she makes essentially the enemy drown in the water. But the thing with the catch is here with Mimi is she actually drinks all the water, which she calls it Mimi Great Guzzle. And that actually kind of shocks Aquarius a bit and stuff like that. And Mimi's like, don't worry, I'm gonna take care of you right now and stuff like that. But then the thing is, similarly to like really the spirit bomb in this case, it was just a ploy for Lucy to buy some time to do her ultimate attack, which we all know is Oranometria. When Mimi goes in, Aquarius just evaporates into water. And essentially, like I said earlier, this whole ploy from Aquarius was a way to buy Lucy some time to call out Gemini, so then they can do Oranometria. This time, as Lucy kind of saying, her whole, well, you were a tough fighter and stuff like that, the type of speech where every anime character says you were very talented, you were a strong fighter, you made me work. Gemini is actually doing the chant, so she doesn't have to do it. And it's funny too because how I make a mention, Lucy makes a mention how long this attack, takes to charge, and especially mostly because the chant. But I find it hilarious how it's like it took her so long to do that, but if you play the legit Fairy Tail game, you actually have to sit through the entire fucking cutscene of when she's doing the Oranometria chant. And honestly, I haven't played the Fairy Tail game in quite a while. Well, I'm supposed to be doing a playthrough of that, but I don't know. But it takes friggin' forever to frickin' to get it done, and it wastes a lot of time and stuff like that. So yeah, anyways, they end up doing Oranometria again. I love when they do it because I'm getting 2 Lucys for the price of 1, and who would not look at Lucy like that? And Mimi's like, if this attack hits me, I'm probably done. But she can't move because she drank up all the water and she's kind of fat right now. Everything. And essentially, Lucy, does Oranometria on Mimi. It takes Mimi out. And after this, Lucy kind of just powers down a bit, or she just goes down in just utter weakness. And then too, Lucy's like, look, even though this place is like filled with all sorts of different magics and the magic's more powerful here, it literally drains like legit all my power to do this, which we all know Oranometria is that strong of an attack where if Lucy uses it once, it better count, because other than that, all her energy is going to be drained and everything. But then Lucy hears some stomps and she sees Mimi, and the chapter ends off where Mimi says, essentially the title of this chapter, saying Mimi is immovable. Now Lucy's thinking like, oh shit, I gave her my best attack and she still took this. But then the chapter ends off with Mimi essentially fainting while standing still. It kind of reminds me of, again, another callback to the anime. It's kind of like after Whitebeard from One Piece. Again, spoilers if you haven't seen One Piece, I'm sorry. But it's like how Whitebeard in One Piece in the Marineford arc, took all the punishment and stuff like that from Blackbeard. And then at the end, he still died standing. So if you haven't watched One Piece, I'm sorry I spoiled a key component of that arc. But that's what I felt like it. So Lucy managed to pick up the W here in this chapter, which of course everybody saw it coming. Some internal thoughts. It was a pretty interesting fight. I was wondering how Lucy was going to get the W. Makes sense that she needed to use Ranometria to finish Mimi off, because we see that Mimi's a very durable character, a very a character that looks like they can take countless hits and stuff like that. But I really enjoyed what we got out of Lucy here in this chapter. I'm guessing the Ranometria is also more powered up too, compared to, I say, an 8 Earthland or Ranometria, because obviously the magic power is stronger here. And again, like I said, to start off this review, Majima has been giving Lucy some very much big moments here where to me, I'm not shocked at the feats Lucy does at this point. It's just like how she does it and how just strong she really is. Again, I said it like in chapters before, like Lucy, even though she out of most of the Fairy Tail cast members, she's definitely not the strongest. I'm gonna have to look at all the Fairy Tail members and see if I put them in the top 10. She's definitely not a top 5 strong like Fairy Tail character when it comes to strength. She's, I would say, definitely in the top 10, but top 5 no. But it's like I'm seeing these feats of strengths Lucy's is doing. I'm like, Lucy from a few arcs ago probably couldn't be doing this type of stuff. She'd probably be doing the whole running around, I'm scared. But I like the fact that Lucy starts to actually like fight back and actually, stands up for herself. It's still pretty cool to see that she gets these big moments where I guess you can say, in some cases she can shock the fan base of how strong she is. Like, again, I said it before, after, the Tartaros arc, she did improve her strength in terms of her spirit power and stuff like that. And again, what more can I say about Lucy? She's just a freaking strong ass character in the Fairy Tail, stuff. She is like legit S-class level tiers of strength. She's definitely not up there with like the Greys and the Urzas and Natsus and stuff like that. But, she's still a person that when a character, when she needs to get down and dirty and needs to fight, she'll do it, and she'll more than likely come out on top of winning and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool to see that. And the other stuff kind of from Mimi, it's fine with me. There was kind of really nothing new that came to Mimi in this fight. It was kind of just the same thing we've seen in the previous chapters of Mimi, that she's just a very durable character that can take, these crazy types of hits and stuff like that. And she's very powerful at it too. So, I guess predictions for next chapter. I don't know if we're going to cut back to the Shizuku versus Celine stuff. I'm guessing next chapter we're going to deal with the Gray versus Hakune rematch going on there. But I enjoyed this chapter. Again, another solid chapter. Not one of the better chapters, but still a solid enough chapter on its own. And again, we're getting to the part where we're seeing the fight. So I'm guessing how this is probably going to go is Gray's going to finish up Hakune, and I'm guessing either Natsu's going to go up against Celine, or a team of him and Urza, or maybe it's going to be the Fairy Tail team versus Celine. I'm guessing that's what's going to be, because she's obviously going to defeat Shuzaku. So that's kind of all I gotta say. So if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's chapter of Fairy Tail. Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? If you're not a Lucy fan, I don't know why you would hate it if you're a Lucy fan. And hit that subscribe button if you want to get more Fairy Tale 100-Year Quest content. Other than that, guys, I'm a guy for. Hopefully, you guys have a great rest of your day. Until then, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.